Welcome back to Kemet, the channel where we explore the mysteries, wonders, and hidden stories of ancient Egypt. Have you ever wondered how one of the greatest civilizations in history began? How did the Egyptians, thousands of years ago, transform the Nile Valley into the birthplace of culture, architecture, writing, and spirituality? Today, we will take you on a journey back in time, over 5,000 years ago, to uncover the origins of ancient Egyptian civilization. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to Kemet, hit the like button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into history's most fascinating civilization. The gift of the Nile. The Greek historian Herodotus once said, "Egypt is the gift of the Nile," and he was right. Without the Nile River, Egypt as we know it could never have existed. Each year, the Nile flooded its banks, depositing rich black silt onto the surrounding land. This fertile soil turned desert into farmland, allowing communities to grow wheat, barley, and flax. The rhythm of the river became the heartbeat of the civilization. The Nile was not just a source of food, it was a highway. Boats carried people, goods, and ideas up and down the river, connecting distant villages and creating unity across the land. Early settlements and agriculture. Around 6000 BCE, small farming communities began to appear along the Nile. These early Egyptians lived in simple huts, raised cattle, and used basic tools made of stone and wood. As time passed, they mastered irrigation. Canals and dikes allowed them to control the floodwaters, ensuring that crops grew even during dry seasons. Agriculture brought stability, and stability allowed population growth. Villages grew larger. Leadership emerged. Local chiefs began to organize people, protect resources, and create trade networks. What started as small farming communities slowly transformed into organized societies. The birth of two lands. By around 3500 BCE, Egypt was divided into two regions, Upper Egypt in the south, with its narrow valley and rocky cliffs, Lower Egypt in the north, with its wide delta spreading into the Mediterranean Sea. Each region developed its own kings, symbols, and gods. Upper Egypt's crown was white. Lower Egypt's crown was red. For centuries, these two lands lived separately, sometimes in peace, sometimes in conflict. But a new chapter was about to begin. The unification of Egypt. Around 3100 BCE, a powerful king rose from Upper Egypt. His name was Narmer, also known as Menes. He conquered Lower Egypt and united the two lands into a single kingdom. This was the birth of dynastic Egypt. The famous double crown, combining the red and white crowns, symbolized the union of the two lands. From this moment, Egypt was no longer a collection of villages. It was a nation, a civilization. The rise of kingship and religion. What made Egypt truly unique was the idea of divine kingship. The king, or pharaoh, was not just a ruler. He was seen as a god on earth, the link between humanity and the divine. Religion shaped every aspect of Egyptian life. The gods of the Nile, the sky, and the underworld guided their understanding of life and death. Temples became centers of worship and administration. Priests recorded rituals, tracked the stars, and preserved knowledge. The belief in eternal life, in the journey of the soul after death, inspired the building of tombs, pyramids, and complex burial rituals. These ideas gave Egypt a spiritual foundation unlike any other civilization. Invention of writing, hieroglyphs. To govern a growing kingdom, Egypt needed more than oral tradition. Around 3100 BCE, the Egyptians developed hieroglyphic writing. At first, it was simple symbols carved into pottery and ivory, but soon, hieroglyphs became a sophisticated writing system, capable of recording laws, trade, stories, and sacred texts. Writing allowed Egypt to preserve its culture for thousands of years. It also gave us, modern historians, a window into their world. Early achievements in architecture and art. The Egyptians were builders from the very beginning. Simple mud brick houses soon gave way to temples and mastabas, the early forms of tombs. These structures were decorated with carvings, paintings, and symbols meant to honor the gods and protect the dead. Art was not just decoration, it was communication. Scenes of farming, hunting, and daily life were painted with incredible detail, reflecting the harmony between humans, nature, and the divine. The first dynasties. With unification, Egypt entered its first and second dynasties. The kings established Memphis as the capital, built temples to the gods, and expanded trade with Nubia, the Levant, and the Mediterranean. Trade brought wealth. Wealth brought power. Power built monuments. Egypt was no longer just surviving, it was thriving. Legacy of the early Egyptians. The foundations laid during these early centuries would shape Egyptian history for millennia. The Nile remained the lifeline. Pharaohs continued to rule as divine kings. Hieroglyphs preserved history. Religion guided art, architecture, and daily life. What began as small villages along a river became a civilization that lasted over 3,000 years, longer than any other in human history. So, how did ancient Egyptian civilization begin? It began with the Nile. It grew through farming, trade, and leadership. It flourished under kingship, religion, and writing. And it left a legacy so powerful that even today, thousands of years later, we still marvel at its greatness. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the origins of ancient Egypt. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Kemet, hit the like button, and share this video with other history lovers. Stay tuned, because on Kemet, we bring the past back to life.